Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment regular meeting of March 19th, 2024 is now in session. Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice published in the Home News and Tribune on December 18th, 2023, and has been posted in the main lobby of the municipal complex on December 18th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Bignell? Here. Ms. Shaw? Here. Mr. Chabra?
Here.
Mr. Patel?
Here.
Mr. Barone?
Here.
Mr. Sidaha?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Here.
And Chairman Gumba?
Here. Madam Secretary, do we have minutes for consideration?
Yes, we do. Minutes for February 27th, 2024 for approval.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Minutes to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Sadata, seconded by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Barone?
Yes, on the motion.
Mr. Patel?
Yes, on the motion.
Mr. Sidaha?
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes.
And Chairman Gumba?
Yes on the motion. And Madam Secretary, resolutions for consideration.
First resolution for consideration is Divya Properties, Z39 2023 for approval.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Sadata, seconded by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Barone?
Yes, on the motion.
Mr. Sidaha?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Gumba?
Yes on the motion. And Madam Secretary, final resolution for consideration.
Gracie Lavera, that's Z36 2023 for approval.
Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Sadata, seconded by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Barone?
Yes, on the motion.
Mr. Patel?
On the motion.
Mr. Sidaha?
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Gumba?
Yes on the motion. And we have two announcements for this evening. Case Z2 2020, Lamar Advertising of Penn LLC at 81 and 101 U.S. Highway 1 will not be heard this evening. It will be carried to April 23rd, 2024, with no further notice required. If you are here for this case, Z2 2020, Lamar Advertising of Penn LLC, it will not be heard this evening. You will not receive another notice. This is your notice. Also, case Z30 2023, PKG Builders LLC at 1590 Lincoln Highway will not be heard this evening. It will be carried to April 23rd, 2024. If you are here for this case, Z30 2023, it will not be heard this evening. It will be heard on April 23rd, 2024, with no additional notice required. This will be your notice. All right, now the housekeeping is done. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a regular meeting of the Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment. The board is composed of Edison Township residents appointed by the municipal council who volunteer their time and service to the board. The municipal land use law requires that members successfully complete a land use training course administered by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. This board also holds in-house training conducted by our board professionals. The zoning board abides by the provisions of municipal land use law in addition to our board's bylaws. The zoning board is a quasi-judicial land use board, which differs from the township planning board. Under municipal land use law, board members are required to be impartial and are not allowed to discuss any case prior to its consideration before the board at a hearing. Applicants will have the opportunity to present their case before the board, with the opportunity for board members and board professionals to question the applicant and their witnesses. At the conclusion of the applicant's presentation of their case, the case will be open to the public. Residents within 200 feet of the subject property will be heard, followed by residents from outside of 200 feet. All residents will be sworn in. They'll provide their name and address, and they'll be given 6 minutes to comment on the application being considered without the opportunity for rebuttal. Residents may ask questions of the applicant's professionals, and board professionals. The board requests that these questions are asked prior to any comments being made on the application. Once commentary begins, the resident's timer will begin. The applicant will be allowed for the opportunity of cross-examination of their witnesses. Under the law, the chair is allowed to stop any comment that is repetitive or is an attempt to filibuster the board. Further, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary that is relevant to the case or prohibited from the board's consideration. Once the public portion is closed, All public comment is ended unless new testimony is presented by the applicant. Following the closure of the public portion, the applicant will have the right of summation on their application. Following summation, the case will go to the board for decision. This procedure has been followed by the board and is similar to procedures followed by boards of adjustment statewide. Municipal land use law requires the board to engage in a balancing act. It is not required to strictly apply township ordinances, zoning plan, or master plan. As a board of adjustment, variances are granted when appropriately necessary, following all legal considerations. As has been the case with prior boards, this board will see where we are if we are still in session around 10:30 p.m. I ask that all applicants, professionals, and residents show respect to each other and be civil throughout all proceedings. I ask that you withhold applause, booing, or interrupting of anyone while they are speaking. The chair will not tolerate any outbursts by applicants, professionals, or the public. Further, since most cases are being recorded by a court reporter, I ask the speakers do not speak over one another. Madam Secretary, first case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z5, 2023, Vishal Rao at 10 Gentile Court. Applicant is seeking bulk and use variances to demolish and construct a new single-family home. The following standards have not been met. Maximum buildage coverage required is 15%, proposed is 19%. FAR required is 25%, proposed is 30%. Affected property is located in the RA zone, designated as block number 410.08, lot number 29 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening.
Good evening, Board.
The attorney will swear you in.
I'm going to swear both of you in. Sir, would you both raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Starting with you, sir.
I do.
And please state your full name for the record.
Vishal Raval.
Okay, and
I do. John Paul DuPont.
Okay. And Mr. DuPont, you were previously qualified on this case back on February 27th, 2024. The only question I'll ask is if your license are still current and good standing.
They certainly are.
All right, then you continue.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. I just want to thank you, everyone, for their time again. I will not reiterate all the statements and facts that were made previously in an attempt to keep this shorter than as needed. Just to remind everyone, Vishal Raval, longtime, lifetime resident of Edison, looking to get a zoning approval for the house I've bought for the wife and myself for many reasons that we've enumerated last time. From the feedback that we received from the board as well as the Township of Edison, John will go over the changes that we've made in hopes to get, to align with your expectations and needs as well. John?
Mr. Chairman and board members, we did hear what was said last meeting. We've made some substantial changes, and I'd just like to go over those. First, we had the impervious coverage previously required was maximum 30%. We were at 40.28. We've now reduced that down to 30% by using porous pavers in the rear yard. So we no longer need that variance. Second thing is that the attic is now clearly less than 1/3 of the floor area below. It is an unfinished space and will not be counted as a story. Number 3 is the floor area ratio. We were at 0.32. We have reduced the building. Now we're at 0.30. So reduce that. And finally, the lot coverage for a building. We were at 18.8, and by reducing the building to improve the floor area ratio, we reduced that number as well to 18.2. So we made 4 significant changes. I think we've followed the direction of the board, and we'd ask your consideration.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Rawal or for Mr. DuPont?
I have a question. Did you?
Michelle, if you just bring the microphone.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Did you amend your application?
We did.
The
We
changes?
resubmitted it, yes.
Do I have a copy of the amendment? Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman.
you have a dry well going in? Is that,
The dry well is still shown on the plans. It's not going to be required by the township. And I think we'll probably reevaluate that at construction, during construction.
and that'll be based on Hank's approval?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Do you have any summation or before we go to the public?
I think that's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. So we will now go out to the public. We will first go into residents within 200 feet of subject site. If you're within 200 feet, you have received a letter via certified mail with regard to this case. Anyone within 200 feet wanting to be heard? Ma'am? You could come up to the podium, please.
Ma'am, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And please state your full name for the record and your address.
Wendy Robin Wiedenbaum, 6 Gentore Court, Edison, New Jersey.
You may
Okay.
proceed.
Thank you. So, my parents bought this house in 1970, so I have been part of the neighborhood since then. My family moved in 2004. Can you hear? Okay.
Yes.
I moved in with my family 2004, and I've known the Vishal and Lakshmi and the girls for 9 years, more than 9 years now. It was always a neighborhood. Once they moved in, it became a community. As you can see, lots of neighbors here. They're caring, they're giving, and they have, between the changes they've made of the house, inside, outside, they're connectors. They bring people together. So when I heard that they were going to be moving, I was devastated. Personally, they're my go-to neighbors. What happens is, I had a snake in the house. I called them up. Vishal comes over with his big gloves, and he gets the snake out. I don't know if y'all have had the flu that's going around now. I had it during the last snowstorm. Called them up and said, help. They came over, they're shoveling my driveway. So they're just really good people. When I heard that they were looking elsewhere, I was devastated. I was like, oh, how do we keep them in the neighborhood? Lo and behold, Murray, an original owner that I've known forever, sold the house, and the opportunity for them to stay not only in the neighborhood, but literally on the block makes me just really happy. They are keepers, so just really appreciate who they are, who the girls are becoming in terms of how they're growing up, education in Edison, and just as parents and neighbors, just love having them as part of the community. So, thank you.
Great, thank you so much. We appreciate
you.
it. Anyone else within 200 feet? Sir?
Hi, good
Sir,
evening.
sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And please state your full name for the record, providing your address.
I'm Rajiv Panjiar. I'm resident of 101 King Street.
Okay,
Rajiv P for Peter, Anjiyar. Yeah. So when I was looking at the plan, I see my house is on the left side of my house is touching their backyard. So I see their swimming pool and the whole extra around area. It's almost touching the wall of the property. I don't know what are the codes, but should it be all the way touching, or there should be some limit? They should not touch all the way to the end of the property.
Mr. Ayat is not here this evening. I'm not sure if Mr. Bignell can answer this question. Mr. Bignell, the gentleman's question is with regard to the pool is located towards the property line. I don't believe there was any code. There wasn't anything. When we went through this with Mr. Ayat in the first hearing, there was no concern with regard to the location of the pool.
I've never looked at the plan, but is it an existing pool? Is that what you're saying? Or is it a new pool?
There's a pool on the property, but it's going to be moved.
It's the same location.
No, new location.
Yeah, it's a new location. It's moved towards more back.
So what's the setback going to be, Mr. DuPont?
I'm saying that the new pool is.
Hang on 1 second, sir.
The proposed pool is 6 foot off the rear and the side yard.
Yeah, that should be enough.
That is.
Yeah.
The old.
Oh, is it more?
Yes. Sorry.
Sorry, we made a modification.
You have the
on
wrong thing. He's got it here.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Sorry.
okay, I'm sorry. Now it is 15 feet off the side yard and 20 feet off the back.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McDowell.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's what, like, they were like, when I look at the map, which was sent to me, like, I barely see any gap. Like, typically, other houses in the around this, like, there are many houses in the line. They're, like, really far back. They're not as much close to the fence. Like, it's almost close to the fence. That's what I see.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Anyone else? Sir?
You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And state your full name, provide your address.
Joel Samuel Silverman.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I missed that, Joe.
Joel Samuel Silverman at 9 Gentor Court. So I am directly adjacent to the current house and directly across the street to the future property. And I just wanted to say they've been a great asset to the neighborhood. It's been a pleasure. I've been there since 2000. So they moved in 9 years ago, I think. And it's been a pleasure to have them in the neighborhood. It will be a great asset if we can keep them in the neighborhood, if they're able to build the house they want. I did spend some time with Vishal reviewing the plans, and I did not feel that the house that was there, that was demolished, had become an eyesore. I do not think he's building an eyesore. I think he's building a very nice house that will be enjoyed by the family and the neighborhood. So I would just put in some positive encouragement to support them building their dream house.
Did he remove any snakes from your home?
No.
It's okay if you say no. It's okay.
He emptied my skimmer baskets a few times in my pool.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir.
all's
We
good.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else within 200 feet of subject property want to be heard? Sir, so you have to come. Okay, so you're not within 200 feet? Hang on one second. Let me just call one more call. Anybody within 200 feet of subject property want to be heard? Okay, anybody outside of 200 feet of subject property want to be heard?
So raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name and address.
Arjun Vaikum, 21 Mary Ellen Drive, Edison, New Jersey. I'm about 2 miles from where Vishal's house is. He still comes to my house and does the snow shoveling in my driveway when I call him. That's what Vishal is. We can play 6 degrees of Vishal. He will know every other 6 people within our community. He brings the people together, just like the way Wendy was saying. And he's an extremely great asset to Edison. He grew up in Edison. He left Edison, went to California, and then he again came back to Edison, back to his roots. And I fully support whatever his cases out here. And I sincerely hope that you all would support him too. Thank you.
Great.
I can get it. You got it? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else from outside 200 feet of subject property want to be heard?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name and address.
Rafpreet Siali, 97 King Street. I'm maybe like 10 feet away from the 200-foot radius of the lot. And I have absolutely no objection with the plans laid out and completely support the plan.
Great. Thank you very much, sir. Is anyone else outside of 200 feet of subject property wanting to be heard? Sir?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name and your address.
Babulal Raval, 1 Churchill Road, Edison. I'm Vishal's father. And me and my wife, we are extremely happy that after traveling around the world, like going to California, and like when he asked, where he wants to settle, he says, I want my kids to be raised with the grandparents, and he comes to Edison. We were the happiest parents. I said, this is the best. After 9 years now, they again got into, now we want a new house. We started worrying just like the neighbors, because even he comes and remove the snow even for me too. So, so yes, we are very happy and proud of him. And when both decided to buy another house and build it there, we're really happy about it. Edison is a great town. I raised both the kids here. I'm very proud of Edison. I'm a proud resident. I'm still at my house, even though it's too big for us now, but you know what? We just love the town. We're just here. So I fully support his plan to build a house and still be in the same neighborhood. I mean, it's amongst all my friends, we are the only proud parents who can say the kids came back and settled in the same town where my grandkids are going to the same school their parents and uncle went. So when I was telling Anaya, you're going to the middle school, I'm so happy. She says, not a big deal. I said, you don't understand, because I know when Vishal went, when Ronak went, we remember all the days and cherish those memories. So really appreciate your support and help.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Anyone else outside 200 feet want to be heard? Last call. Okay. Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Sadada, second by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed, and we will go to the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. They've met the positive and negative criteria. There's been no objections from within 200 feet and outside 200 feet. In fact, it's been positive. It's going to be an asset to the neighborhood. So I would recommend approving this.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Sadada. Roll call, please.
Mr. Patel?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Barone?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sadaha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kumba.
Yes on the motion. You have a unanimous approval, 6 votes. Congratulations, your case is approved.
Thank you, board. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Good luck. Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z18-2023, Vikash Kumar, 267 Savoy Avenue. Applicant is seeking bulk and use variances to extend his single-family dwelling and add rooms to the second-story floor. The following standards have not been met. Max building coverage is 20%, proposed is 24.29%. Max FAR is 37%, proposed is 44.94%. Affected property is located in the RBB zone, designated as block number 933, lot number 1.05 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Okay, we didn't do this on the last application, but I just want to make sure you're aware that we only have 6 board members tonight. We don't have a 7th, so if you want us to vote, you're aware you'll need 5. Okay.
Understood. All right, good evening. Once again, this is Vinay Mavinkar on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Kumar, who's seated to my left. We did appear here in September, and so without rehashing what we went over, I anticipate providing testimony from Mr. Kumar briefly, as well as supporting testimony from Andrew Wu, the professional engineer, who has submitted a revised site plan, as well as Ms. Patnaik, who's an architect, who can perhaps lend some more or add to the testimony that we provided at the last appearance, and perhaps clear up some of the questions that were posed then. So at this time, I think I'm going to start with Mr. Wu, and I'll have him sworn in, please.
Michelle.
Mr. Wu needs to have a microphone, though. Mr. Wu, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And please state your full name for the record.
Andrew Wu.
Mr. Wu, you were previously qualified on this application. The only question I'll ask is if your license are still current and in good standing?
Still current and good standing.
Great, you may proceed.
Mr. Wu, could you direct the board to the revised site plan that you had submitted and the changes that you've made?
Sure. The
major things to revise the site plan is the old garage is very hard to get in and get out. Now we redesigned the garage to be straight in, straight out, makes everything much simple and to the client's satisfaction. The clients just have a hard time to get in and get out of his garage. So we changed garage to straight in, straight out.
Mr. Wu, one of the comments that we received at the last meeting was in reference to the color scheme of the site plan. You've changed that scheme. Can you explain what you've changed?
Yes, I apologize last time. It's not very clear. Now this time I make a color for the plan. The gray one is the existing one, and the green one is the proposed addition. It's very easy to see.
Okay, so just to be clear, the crosshatch pattern is the existing floor plan, and the green pattern is the proposed addition, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, the green proposed addition is what you're referencing as far as the garage extension. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, and it's your testimony that that garage extension is required for the cars to be able to turn in and out of that garage. I'm sorry, scratch that. For the cars to be able to drive right into the garage as opposed to turning into it, correct?
Correct.
Does the plan anticipate changing the length or the width of the driveway in any way?
Basically, it's the same. And the driveway is the same as the old driveway, and just the garage is a straight in and a straight out.
Those are all the questions I have for Mr. Wu. I believe that answers all the questions that were posed at the last meeting, but if I've missed anything, please feel free.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Wu? Bro? Let's bring your microphone closer.
Mr. Chair, I know there were, from looking at your previous testimony, there was some other questions that Mr. Ayat had, and they had to do with, who's not here tonight, by the way, but had to do with, was the original house being demoed? And the other question he had were any of the walls being removed?
No.
So to answer the first question, the original house is not being demoed, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Again, I'm sort of like speaking for Mr. Ayat, who wasn't here. And Mr. Komba, we had questions on the great room from the previous testimony.
You're not questioning me, you're questioning them.
No, I'm saying that it was a question that you brought up. So the great room, you had one on the second floor, one on the first floor, and that was being, what was asked is, please clarify that.
Right.
So can you?
So we do have the architect here today, which we did not have at the last meeting, and she has presented some revised plans that she will offer testimony to shortly. So it's probably best if we reserve that question for the architect.
Thank you.
Okay. Does any on the board have any other questions for Mr. Wu? I can't see. All right, seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with the board's permission, I'd like to call the architect to come and provide some expert testimony on the revised plans.
Good evening. Good evening. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And can you please give us your full name?
Pirkko Liisa Patanayak. Pattanayake.
Ms. Patnaik, can you tell me a little bit about your background?
Hang on one second.
Oh, I
Counsel,
apologize.
I'm sorry. I don't believe you had previously appeared.
No.
No?
This
Okay.
is the first time.
So if you could just give us a summary of your qualifications?
Yeah, I am a registered architect in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. 25 years in New Jersey. I live in South Amboy, New Jersey.
And your license are current and in good standing?
Yes.
Okay, we'll accept you. Thank you.
Okay. There was a question posed at the last meeting with respect to the second floor great room. Could you please direct the board to the revised diagram where this room presently exists and what the use of that room is?
Yeah, this new room which you are mentioning is open to the existing great room or family room. So it is used as a computer room for adults and children. And so it is open, as I said, with a railing. So it is like kind of part of the downstairs room. So there will be communication between those rooms.
Okay, and just to be clear, that room is not meant to be a second living room or some other type of structure of that nature,
No,
correct?
it is not suitable for anything else but a study room and a computer room.
Now, this is because the clients both work from home, am I correct?
Yes, and the client has 2 young children, so while they are working from home, they can have a communication downstairs with the children.
Okay, and so you anticipate that the open railing will allow them to keep an eye on the children downstairs while they work upstairs, am I right?
Yes, that's first idea.
Not sure if that answers your question, Mr. Colombo, but I believe that was your question, I believe, as to what the purpose of that room was.
Okay. And do you have any other questions for?
I believe there were some questions about the basement and its use, so we'll offer some testimony as to that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this existing basement is now finished and it is used as a children playroom. And the addition will be similarly used, open, finished, open room, used as recreation and gymnasium type of room. So it is not, as I say, it is open, so there is no big definition with the use.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there are any other questions about that basement room, the basement and its layout, but
Does the board have any questions for the architect with regard to the basement?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Sadata?
you have any bathrooms in the basement?
Yes, we have. There will be one bathroom. It is actually there now.
And no bedrooms?
No bedrooms.
Okay.
Yeah, till now we don't show the window sizes, but they are far too small to be a bedroom.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions with regard to the basement?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman?
on the basement drawing A02.2, you have a note. Structural HVAC electrical plumbing design after variation approval. What's the variation?
Yeah, the variance is that we have now, if we have when we have approval, then we are going to make the details. Because till now we were not approved, so we did not progress with the detailing of the space.
What's the variation?
I think she means variance.
Variance.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. You'll correct it on the drawing if this gets approved, right?
Yes, yes, I wondered about that word, you know. It was taken from somewhere.
Any other questions with regards to the basement? Okay, seeing none. Council?
Those are all the questions I have for this expert at this time.
Okay. Does the board have any other questions with regard to the architecturals for this project? Okay, seeing none. Okay, thank you, Council.
Thank you.
I have no further questions, so if we are, I'll leave it up to the board to open it up to the public.
Michelle? Are you going to give any planning testimony with regard to the FAR variance?
We do not have a planner testifying today.
Ms. Shaw? Yeah, we're going to take a 2-minute recess. All right, we'll return to session.
So, having discussed the matter with the applicant, he's prepared to carry the matter to the 30th. I'm sorry, April 30th.
April
To
30th.
present testimony from a planner with respect to the FAR coverage.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that being said, so this case will be carried to Tuesday, April 30th with no additional notice required. If you're here for this case or you're watching at home, this case will be heard continuation on Tuesday, April 30th. You will, if you have received a notice, you will not receive any additional notice. This will serve as your notice. And thank you. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
That's good. All right, Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda.
Case number Z31, 2023, Kayush Dalwadi at 47 West Knollwood Road. Applicant is seeking bulk and use variances to construct a second-story addition to the existing single-family dwelling. The following standards have not been met. Maximum lot coverage required is 23%, proposed is 28.08%. Maximum FAR required is 44%, proposed is 54.5%. Affected property is located in the RB zone designated as block number 1102, lot number 17 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Shire.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Bernard Shire with the firm of Convery, and Shire, representing Mr. and Mrs. Kashik Dalwadi with reference to this application. The property in question is 47 West Knollwood Road. As the secretary indicated, block 1102, lot 17. The purpose of the application is that Mr. and Mrs. Dalwadi have lived across the street basically for approximately 16 years, and they are outgrowing their house. The property in question has an old dilapidated house, and they propose to demolish it and build a new home, which will be able to take care of them, their 3 children, and the 2 of the grandparents. The proposal is to demolish the home, build a new one. They would really like to stay in the neighborhood. They like their neighbors, the neighbors like them, and they're hoping that the board will view this with favor. They do need an FAR variance and a lot coverage by building variance, and this will, granting that, will allow them to remain in the neighborhood and to have adequate room for the family. Unless I have with me Mr. and Mrs. Dalwadi and John DuPont, who is an engineer and planner, to testify. If the board has any preliminary questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd like to proceed.
Does the board have any questions, Mr. Shire?
I'm sorry?
I was asking the board if they had any questions for you, Mr. Shire.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
thought
okay.
you were asking me.
It's all right. I'm just doing my job. It's okay. All right. Seeing none, you may proceed.
Right. I'll call Mr. Dalwadi. Raise your right hand. You have to be sworn.
Mr. Dalwadi, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your full name for the record. Pull the microphone close to you.
Kaushik Kumar Dalwadi, residing at 40 Nalwood Road West on the same street.
Right. Mr. Dalwadi, you, of course, are the owner and applicant in this matter, correct?
That's correct.
And you've lived in this neighborhood since when?
Since 2008, you know.
All right. And you'd like to remain in the neighborhood, correct?
Of course. And that's why, you know, I'm moving on only to two houses away.
You're outgrowing your present house, correct?
That's correct.
You now have 3 children.
3 children, 2 parents.
How old are the children?
2 are in college. One is in high school, Edison High.
Okay. And your parents live with you as well?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
and this new home will allow you to remain in the neighborhood, correct?
yes, and as well as, you know, we like to retire in the same house, as well as, you know, we want to like live until like, you know, we are around in this house. That's our plan.
I have no other questions of Mr. Dalbadi.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Dalbadi? Seeing none.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Dalwadi.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I'd call John DuPont.
Solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And state your full name for the record.
John P. DuPont.
Mr. DuPont is being offered as an engineer and also a planner in this matter.
Mr. DuPont, you were accepted per order this evening. Your license haven't changed in the past 20 minutes?
They have not.
That's good news. You may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. DuPont, you were hired by Mr. Dalbadi to prepare the engineering plan for this project?
That's correct.
And as such, I assume you visited the property and are well aware of its condition?
I am.
Could you please state for the board the present condition of the property in question?
I will, and I'm going to go to the plans that are on the board. Over here, they are copies of what was submitted, and I passed out to the board 11 by 17s of sheet 1 and sheet 3. Just the cover sheet and then the grading plan. So basically, as you heard, this is an existing lot, right? This lot is 6,798 square feet. The lot depth is 106 feet, and the lot width is 59.9 feet. Property has a single-family home on it currently. The house is older and in need of repairs. It's smaller, and it doesn't meet the needs of the applicant. The property has 3 existing violations on it. Lot area required 7,500 square feet, proposed 6,798. The lot width requirement is 75 feet. The existing lot width is 59.99 feet. The minimum front yard setback is 25. Existing is 23.78. So under proposed conditions, the applicant's proposing to demolish the house, construct a new single-family house. That dwelling will be 3,700 square feet, will include a 1-car garage and 2-car driveway. There will be a couple new variances. The max lot coverage of a building, the requirement in the zone is 23%. We're proposing 28.08%. And the floor area ratio is 0.44. Existing 0.27, proposed 0.54. So if we look at the grading plan, which is your sheet 2 of 4, you should be having your handout. Sorry about that. From an engineering standpoint, it's pretty straightforward. It's a single lot, knocking down a home, building a new home. The grading is the same direction, the stormwater runoff in the same direction. The total increase in impervious, even though it's a bigger home, is only 500 square feet. So from an engineering standpoint, pretty basic. Existing utilities are being utilized. Again, no impacts to the adjoining properties other than what you see today. And that really is the crux of the engineering testimony. And if you have any questions maybe for that, we could talk and I could switch over to planning.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. DuPont with regard to engineering testimony? Seeing none. Okay.
Mr. DuPont, Once again, this new house can be constructed without any setback violations whatsoever, correct?
That's right. That's right. And we'll get into that as I do the planning. So planning and support the application, I did review your master plan. We did look at your zoning ordinance and we did visit the site. We are proposing a single-family home, which is permitted, and we are not modifying the existing lot. There is a D4 variance required. It's an increase in permitted floor area ratio. In order to approve a D4, we need to balance the positive and negative criteria. We must demonstrate that the site can accommodate the problems associated with the proposed larger dwelling. The primary reason we're here for the floor area ratio is the fact that the current lot is undersized, right? The requirement for the zone is 7,500 square feet. The existing lot is only 6,798 square feet. Our dwelling, if the lot was compliant, will be 0.49, much closer to the standard. This applicant has been a resident since 2008. He currently lives at 40 West Norwood Street. He wants to stay in a neighborhood. The new larger home is designed to meet the needs of his family. The applicant's parents will live with him. He's got 3 children, so it makes a lot of sense. They like the neighborhood and they want to stay there. It's very important to note in this application, even though the floor area ratio is larger, we are meeting all the setbacks for side yard, rear yard, and height. So light, air, and open space is being provided. The neighborhood is going through a little transition. Homes are being updated, and it's actually some nice additions made to the neighborhood. I think our home will fit the character perfectly. We are the smallest lot within 200 feet. It's close. There's one other lot that's about almost identical in size, but the lots range from 6,700 square feet to 7,500 square feet. There's 19 lots, 18 of them are undersized. So we're consistent, but we are the small. So as far as C variances go, there are 3 of them. 2 are existing and 1 is new. Remember the front yard setback that was existing? This proposed plan eliminates that. So we are making an improvement with respect to bulk. The other 2 existing is the minimum lot area and minimum lot width, which we spoke about. The proposed variance is for building coverage. 23% maximum allowable, we're proposing 28. Again, we talk about the lot being undersized. If that lot was compliant, we'd be at 25%, almost meeting the standard. So you see the impact of the lot size. In the C2 proposal needs to, we need to prove that it advances the MLUL, the purposes of the MLUL. Our project will advance the following. Purpose A, we are proposing a new dwelling in an existing neighborhood on a previously subdivided property that will meet the characteristics of the neighborhood. Purpose C, we're proposing a dwelling which meets the bulk standards and therefore providing the adequate light, air, and open space. Purpose E, we are not re-subdividing the land or forcing additional dwelling units. We're proposing a new home in an established neighborhood, thereby promoting the general welfare of the persons in the neighborhood and the community. And we are improving the visual environment by constructing a new home that meets the characteristics of the neighborhood. So again, and you're familiar with this, when we look at the undersized lot, we always look to Dallmeyer. In that case, the court says that the applicant's got to make, an effort in order to make the lot more compliant, whether that's buying or selling the piece of property. The only problem here is that all the adjacent properties to ours are also undersized, so that wasn't possible here. Again, we talked about meeting, we had to give you we're supposed to come up with a house that met the characteristics and provided as much compliance with the bulk standards as possible. We've met all the bulk standards. So I think we meet the conditions of Dallmeyer. Negative criteria, I see no detriment to the public good. We have a property owner who lives in the area. His parents live in the area. They want to continue to call Edison their home. They purchased a smaller lot, and they're going to build a little larger home that meets their needs. They also have removed one of the existing violations of front yard setback. The benefits of the project clearly outweigh the detriments. I believe the granting of the variances will not substantially impair the intent or purpose of the zone plan or zoning ordinance. And in conclusion, this case is about a family currently living across the street that wants to keep their family in Edison. The proposed dwelling will meet the neighborhood, and all the setbacks in the zone are met.
One last point. Since the condition of the existing home on the property is old and dilapidated, this will be a big improvement from an aesthetic standard also, won't it?
Absolutely.
I have no other questions of Mr. Dupont.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions of Mr. Dupont with regard to planning?
Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chairman.
Yes, looking at this, the required floor area ratio is 44%, and your proposed is 54.5%. What can you do to reduce that? Down closer to 44%.
Well, we did look at it, and the home was designed, and we knew that standard existed. That standard is being exceeded because mainly that size of that lot. The applicant did design a home that met the needs and will fit in that neighborhood. We don't think we're going to be building a home that's going to be out of character in the neighborhood. I think that size sounds large, the .54, but in actuality, it's not. It's a smaller lot. It's not an overly huge home. It's 3,700 square feet. He has 3 children, husband and wife, and parents. I think, although on paper the number sounds high, I don't believe in this case it is. If that home was 7,500 square feet, we'd be right where you wanted to be.
Is there a similar home, the same size, in the same floor area ratio?
I didn't measure the floor area ratios in the area. There are a couple homes that were clearly have done exactly what we're doing. They've put additions on, they've modified. You can see the neighborhood. There's 3 or 4 homes that have already had the change that's going on. There were some smaller homes there too, originally built when the development was built. But you see the changeover, and it looks terrific.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Mr. Jobber.
Mr. Dupont, so you're saying that the zone calls for 7,500 square feet per lot?
Yes.
Okay, so even if we do 3,700 over the average designated zone for 7,500, you get 49%.
That's right.
And the allowed is 44%.
That's right.
So essentially, we're still going 5% over that, even if we had that full-size lot that we did.
Absolutely are.
So anything we could get done with that?
Well, again, we looked at that. We knew that was the number, and the applicant really designed it. Didn't try to overdesign. This isn't a developer building an overdesigned house. He's just building what meets his needs for his family. So we thought it was worth it to come to the board with what he really would work for the applicant, and come to the board and knowing that this is a gentleman who lives right across the street. This is, again, not a developer building to sell or flip this house. This is a family moving across the street. And I think this house makes a lot of sense for the applicant.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Dupont, you made several references to the size of this lot versus a compliant lot. This lot is 6,798 square feet, correct?
Correct.
What's the size lot that you keep referencing as if it were compliant?
7,500 square feet.
Okay. So my question is an extension really of my colleagues. Several times you said the dynamics of your house are because the lot is undersized. And you said that several times in several areas. And what's affected here is like floor area ratio. But it isn't that the lot is undersized. It's the house is oversized for this lot. So that's the challenge that the board members here are making, myself included, about making the house more conforming to the size lot that it is, not a compliant lot that it is not.
That is definitely the challenge. I totally agree with you. And again, we just touch back on Dallmeyer for a little bit. A big point of the floor area ratio is that when you build an oversized house on a lot, then you are restricting light, air, and open space. In this case, we are meeting those bulk standards. Side yard, rear yard, front yard setbacks. We're actually improving our front yard setback. We're meeting the height. So again, we're in that building envelope. I understand the floor area ratio doesn't work, but everything else does. And we're actually making improvements to it.
I believe that, and I defer also to my colleagues, that I think we're asking again, and now I'm asking additionally, if you can improve on the floor area ratio.
I think we'd have to talk to the client if we like.
Do you want to Would you like about 3 minutes?
Can we do that?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Mr.
We're
Chairman.
going to stand in recess for 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Board will return to session.
Right, Mr. Chairman, we've discussed the matter with the applicants, and understanding that one of the anomalies caused by floor area ratio is that you can meet all the bulk requirements of a lot and still violate floor area ratio. However, after discussing the matter, if we were to, as Mr. DuPont said, if we had a conforming lot, we'd be at 0.49. And we are willing to go to 0.49, reduce the size of the house, and my clients are willing to go along with that.
Okay, so then you'll then have to submit new plans.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we'll then look to carry you for another evening.
What's the new
We'll look
date?
to carry you for, I don't know, but I mean, you have to answer the question is how
Right.
long you're gonna need for new plans, because you'll need new engineering plans, you'll need new architecturals.
Is there
Mr.
any way
Dupont.
we could make it a condition of any approval? That
We
we
would,
meet?
the board would need to see
to
everything
see it.
before, yeah, because it would just set a bad standard,
Understood.
bad precedent.
Mr. Chairman, if we could adjourn it for a month, that should be adequate.
Madam Secretary.
May 14th?
I'm sorry, what?
May
May
14th?
14th.
Good.
Work for you, Ms. Shar?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, so for anyone here present, for anyone listening at home, this case will be carried until May 14th with no additional notice required. If you are listening to this case and you've received a notice, you will not receive any further notice. This will stand as your notice. This case will be heard on May 14th, 2024.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have a good evening.
Will you need a transcript of this hearing? Yes.
Do you need a few minutes? All right, Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda?
Case number Z3 2024, Taweed Center at 6 Kilmer Road. Applicant is seeking a use variance to operate in this facility as a meditation center and community learning center. Standards have not been met in accordance with the master plan. Affected property is located in the LI zone, designated as block number 3.02, lot number 6.01 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, council.
Good evening. David Prasad, licensed attorney in the state of New Jersey. I'm here to represent Tawhid Dawa Center, who's the applicant, as Madam Secretary said, seeking a D1 use variance for a religious use in the LI zone. The applicant is not proposing any exterior changes, only minor interior fit-outs, and a religious use is considered an inherently beneficial use. The current building, just for a background, the current building is home to an office space and also a Hindu religious assembly space. the applicant is proposing to repurpose 3,995 square feet of that existing office space for the religious use. Further, the applicant is not seeking any parking variances, and we believe that there is adequate parking on the site. I have three witnesses tonight. I have the applicant, Mr. Memon here from Tawhid Dawah Center. I have the architect, Christopher Teeter, and we also have your resident witness, John DuPont, as our planner.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Rideau.
before you get started, I wrote a report just on the use variance portion as an existing facility, and I wasn't sure whether it was a religious facility or not. It said, you referred to it in your application as, let's see, a meditation center. I wasn't sure that was religious, but if you say it's religious, then he is inherently beneficial. So I agree with them on that front. My only other concerns with the property are the layout of the building is very difficult to understand, like who was getting what, because you had it all hatched out, and there's no individual calculation for parking. So I'm not sure that the parking is adequate. It's adequate for a warehouse, but I'm not sure it was adequate for all the activities. There is 117 spaces, so there is a lot of parking, but I'd like them to kind of break that out. And then the only other issue I had with it was what's the play area for? Who's that for? As a rubber chips play area. And did you have approvals for these things? Because I don't ever remember. Is Indy Bridge, is that one of the religious operations there, or is that somebody else?
That is a different religious use.
Okay, but they're not in this property.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so there's a lot of things going on out there. I just kind of hope that they would kind of clear that up a little bit for us. That's all. I have no objection to what they want to do, but I just want to make sure everything works.
Yeah, we plan on addressing all the comments in the report, and also we did do a revised parking calculation, so we'll explain that on the record as well.
And then the only other thing on the plan, if you go through all your hatch marks, like there's no restrooms in your portion of the building, so you need to address that. Where do those people go? Is that a common area, or how's that work?
Okay.
All right, because it was very confusing on the plan.
Understood. We'll have the architect address that as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Prasad, I just wanted to make sure you were advised that we have 6 board members here tonight. This is a USD, so you'll need 5 affirmative votes if the board is so inclined. So you can make that determination as you proceed.
Understood. Thank you. So if the board has no questions for me, I'd like to introduce our first witness, Mr. Safaridge Memon.
Sir, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, and if you use the microphone to state your full name for the record?
I will do.
Your full name, please.
Yeah, my name is Sarfraz Memon. Sarfaraj. Last name is Memon, Memon.
Mr. Memon, can you please explain your position with the organization and your familiarity with this project?
So I'm the president of the Tawhid Dawah Center organization.
Okay, and just to be clear, Tawhid Dawah Center is leasing from the property owner, Abbey Properties LLC, is that correct?
Yes, we already signed the lease and we submitted.
For the board's benefit, can you please give us a background of what Tawhid Dawah Center does and what you intend to use the space for?
So Tawhid Dawah Center is an organization which does the Islamic teaching and also Quran reading and Quran learning teaching center. So we'll be using this place for just for Islamic youth to learn the Quran and also the Islamic study. And we'll be using in the morning and evening the hours which we had proposed.
Okay, and just for the board's benefit, can you explain the hours of operation that you intend?
So we have a morning class for Islamic youth is 7:30 to 12:30, and we have also evening also 7:30, 4:30 to 7:30 in winter, and in summer generally goes up to 10:30 because of the longer days. Yeah. Also they do.
I'm sorry. Can you gentlemen do me a favor? Both of you take your microphones and bring them a little closer to you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that's perfect. And then if you could just repeat the, we got the morning hours were 7:30 to 12:30. If you could just repeat the later in the day hours.
Yeah, so in evening will be 4:30 to 7:30 in general, but in summer hours we have the long days, so it will go up to max 10:30. And Islamic youth can come and they learn the Quran. And also they will do the pray there, Since we are the Muslim, we do the 5-time pray, so they will do pray there also.
Can you explain the number of occupants you expect to have on a daily basis at any given time?
So any given time, max we expecting is 40, but sometime we do the event for the kids. So with our neighbor concern, the neighbor we have the Hindu temple, we talk to them also, and they are also okay with us. So we can coordinate with them and we'll do event, and then max will be 80 on that.
And 80 occupants is the maximum allowable capacity for the space, correct?
Yes.
So there is another religious use on the site. How can you ensure that there will be no parking issues?
So before we approaching this location, we met the owner of this building. Also, we met the neighbor, our Hindu temple neighbors, the Ajay Bhai and all the other, all their the trustees, and we sat with them and we talked to them, and we said what these are our operation and this will be doing, and we saw there also what they will be using the event and all the programs, and with that we talked to them that. If they okay, then we wanted to list, and they said yes, we are very okay, and let us know how we can help. So they are very good to us, especially the main president of that, the Hindu temple. They are very happy with us, and we met couple time before that also.
And in the case of events and parking, will you coordinate with the other tenants in case you need extra parking, just to ensure there's no overlap?
Yes, we already talked to the owner. We already met every tenant there, and especially the main bigger tenant over there is the temple. And the temple we met before we signing the lease, and before we going forward, we talked to them, and they were okay with our operation. And when we do the event, we'll do only that time when they are not using. So they have also limited hours of the prayers. So except that prayer, we can do the event. That's what they said. So we can coordinate with them very easily. They still in contact with us.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Brown?
Just to do with the capacity, 80 is the total capacity, maximum?
Yes, that's what we expecting most with the student and their parents may come.
The only question I have is, how do you maintain the 80? How do you control overlays?
So we also have another location in Somerset. We have the the services going over there. So generally in this location, what we expecting is max 40. What we expecting, but still we just proposing that when we do event, we not. I will say 60 max, but we proposing max is 80.
So what I'm hearing is that you will never really get to 80? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we used to be before in Matachan, also we have in Somerset. So we never got this, our study and our classes never went more than that. And we never used that much.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? And so the hours that you're listening, what days are you, what days of the week?
So generally we have every day kind of thing. So it's like Monday to Sunday, that we Monday, Tuesday, every week and every day.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chairman.
Okay, so the hours are 7:30 to 12:30 p.m. And what occupancy is that for? What's that going to be used for, those hours?
It's the same thing. So some youth comes in the morning, and some youth comes in the evening. So the younger one comes mostly in evening. So we just wanted to, because we have a very limited volunteers, so we schedule everything okay, this kids will come or this youth will come this time only, this youth will come this time. So like that. So also many after this, online happens, so classes happen. So it's in evening also some of the youth are busy. So we give them late hours to learn. Also our, the imam or, the teachers, they are volunteers. So we check with that time also. So that's why we were proposing the
Every
evening
day is going to be 7:30 to 12:30 for the.
Yes.
What's the age?
Age will be, generally we have 8 years to 18 or 19. And the student who learns the, Islamic study or Quran teaching, they come with their parents, and parents wait and they, they pray there until, the kids are learning and going back.
And then at 4:30 to 7:30. That's every day also?
Yes, yes, same.
And what's the age for that?
Same thing. We just, keeping different classes and different timing.
And then you said in the summer, so it's 4:30 to 10:30.
Summer is a long days, so we wanted to give them, the more window of hours kind of thing, so they can come until late also.
When does that start? What, summer starts?
Summer
June?
generally when after the daylight saving, April, May, June, we'll start with that, So that we give them, the more relaxed hours to come late, because some parents, they cannot drop the kids early in a time, so they can, they come with a late time.
And what happens between 12:30 and 4:30?
Generally, we will leave it open if someone want to come and pray, but otherwise it will be, no use of that location.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Sada.
Do you have a kitchen and providing food over there?
No food at all.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. So you did mention a peak of 80 individuals. How often would that be?
Very rare, mostly in events or something we wanted to, teach all together. Then we'll do the, all the class together. Otherwise, generally we don't do it.
Okay.
But we have the other location where we do the pray, and also we have the, event center. Our other center is in Somerset. So mostly bigger event is going over there. We have 16-acre land there.
Okay.
Also, we do another event in Mettachan also. So generally, if it goes bigger, we go there.
Okay. Yeah, my only concern would be that as long as, for example, if there's 80 individuals leaving, you did mention the classes. So classes usually have a start and a finish, and at the finish time, that's when the influx of individuals would be exiting the lot and possibly causing traffic. That's the only concern that I would have.
Yeah, I don't think so. We'll do overlapping. Any classes also. Generally, what we have is 1 hour class, and then we give a little break to volunteer to prepare for another class. So generally, it's not overlap.
Okay, so it's like between the 7:30 a.m. to the 12:30 a.m., it's hour sessions.
Hour sessions.
They're hour sessions, they're not one consecutive. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
I'd like to call this our second witness, Christopher Teeter, the registered architect for the project. And I'd ask if the board can swear him in.
Teeter, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And please state your full name for the record. You can
It's Chris Teeter.
And if you could just give a summary of your qualifications, background qualifications.
Yes, I've been a registered architect in the state of New Jersey for 10 years. I registered in 6 states currently. Undergrad Kansas, graduate school Pennsylvania. The last time I was here was actually for the Hindu temple on the other side. So I'm familiar
So you're
with that.
familiar with the property.
Yes.
And your licenses are current and good standing?
Yes.
Great, we'll accept you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Teeter, can you tell me what the approximate size of the entire building is?
It's basically 20,000 square feet.
And how much of that building is proposed for this application?
It's around 4,000 square feet.
And just for the record, the applicant is taking a portion of the existing office space to use as their religious use?
Correct. The northeast corner facing the back of the lot.
And the existing office space in the building is approximately 15,000 square feet, correct?
Yes, so we'll be taking from the 15,000 down to 11.
Okay. The applicant and their congregation will have their own means of ingress and egress from the parking area, is that correct?
Yeah, there's 2 exits. One will be the main entrance facing the rear, which is north end. Then there's a side exit as well. And then there's actually another connector to the rest of the building, but there's 3 egresses provided with this proposal.
Also, the applicant, as part of this application, is not proposing any exterior changes or site changes, is that correct?
Correct. It's all interior work.
All interior. For the record, can you explain the maximum occupancy of the space to be used by the applicant?
Yeah, so the 4,000 square feet, within that, there's actually office spaces as well. And so the calculation, accessory office to the meditation prayer area adds up to about 80 people.
And for the board, can you explain the interior fit out, what the applicant intends on doing with the interior space?
They left some of the old spaces, which will be glass, and then they're going to put in basically finished mats, and that's it. It's all going to be open, empty space.
I mentioned the parking count before. How many parking spaces are provided for the entire building?
So what I provided in the drawing was actually incorrect, but there's 117 currently, which was from the last hearing.
And how many spaces will be needed for the application, for the applicant?
So after you redo the calculation, you're actually losing spaces, 3 total, if you convert the office space to the use of 80 people divided by 4. So we actually get down to 114 with the new calculation, which is not on this drawing, but we can submit.
We will resubmit drawings with the accurate parking calculation.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, we are requiring 114 spaces for this application.
Correct. It's 57 from the Hindu Center, and then there's 20 for our center, and then it leaves, I think, 37 spots for the office.
Correct. So 117 spaces exist. The Tawhid Dawa Center will require 20 spaces. Is that correct?
Yes, at 80.
The Hindu temple will require 57 spaces. Is that
Right.
correct?
Correct.
And the current office use in the building as well will require 37 spaces. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So total together, that will be 114 spaces required for the 3 uses on the site.
Correct.
And again, 117 spaces exist on the site.
Yes.
I have no more questions for this witness. I'll direct it to the board.
Does the board have any questions? Mr. Bignow.
The restrooms, they don't seem to be indicated on the plan.
Yeah, so and I've been working on this building for 5 years, and it shifts around a lot, so I apologize if the drawings weren't perfectly clear. The Hindu side actually has their own bathroom facilities, so we won't be sharing it with them. The office space, which I was just here before the hearing, use the bathroom over there. In the middle space, just south of the door that connects it to the rest of the building, there are 3 bathroom facilities, and they would be adequate for what for the additional.
You'll show it on the plan, though, so that we have something on the plan that they're allowed to use that area.
Yes, I
Okay.
can provide that. But that door that connects to the hallway, that takes you to the bathrooms, which are to the bottom left.
Well, Mr. Chairman, maybe as a condition, the revised plan should clean up the hatch marks and take that all out and just show the area and that's being proposed this evening with the restrooms. So it's clear. It's not very clear in the plans that we have.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bignow. Does the board have any questions? Seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, I'd like to call our professional planner, John DuPont. Might as well get a job.
Mr. DuPont, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr.
John
DuPont,
P. DuPont.
We'll accept you.
Thank you.
I won't go through a dog and pony show.
Okay, so the applicant tonight seeks a D1 variance to allow a religious place of assembly use within the space at the property located at 6 Kilmer Road in the LI zone. Place of assembly are not permitted in the zone, but a religious place of assembly is considered to be inherently beneficial use under the municipal land use law. Since it is inherently beneficial, the positive criteria under SEEK, a balancing test, is satisfied, which means that we must consider only what negative impacts, if any, such a use would have on the surrounding properties. The application requires no variances apart from the use. As you've heard, there is more than the required amount of parking on site to accommodate all the uses calculated under Edison's ordinance. Additionally, we know that the board has already considered the existing Hindu religious assembly use at the site to be and determined it to be appropriate use. This proposal is nearly identical to the existing religious assembly, with the exception of the much smaller in scope. So 225 maximum congregates versus 80 maximum congregates. So we're a much smaller group. The surrounding area consists of industrial, commercial, and retail uses with no neighboring residents. The use is fully contained within the building and provides no negative impacts on the surrounding properties. The use is far less intense than the other uses that would be permitted in a zone, such as a warehouse or a distribution facility. It is in my opinion that the SEEK balancing test is met overwhelmingly in favor of the approval of the board, and the board should look favorable upon allowing the use that is proposed. And that concludes my planning testimony.
Okay. Mr. Pino. You are. Excellent.
Mr. Chairman, I'm satisfied with the response from the applicant. I just wanted to make sure they had common areas and there wasn't any intrusion. Maybe the one question I haven't answered yet is about the play area with the rubber chips. I mean, what's that about?
According to the applicant, the play area is part of the Hindu temple, and that was an existing thing before they even came into the site. They don't intend to use it, and it's not connected with their application.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I recall when the Hindu temple came in that was part of it. So
okay.
All right. Thank you. Does the board have any questions for Mr. DuPont? Seeing none.
So I'd just like to give a summation to the board. We are a religious use seeking a D1 variance. There are no exterior changes to the site. We have sufficient parking for both the office and the two religious uses on the site. And I believe John DuPont here actually addressed the MLUL justifications for a D1 variance. There are a few items on Mr. Bignell's report that I'd just like to address for the record. The trash and recycling materials, where they'll be stored and how they'll be removed from the site. We can work with the owner of the property to find out that information. I do believe they have a dumpster on the site for their uses and their other tenants, but we could provide that if necessary, as well as a dumpster enclosure. There's a question or a comment about loading spaces. Loading spaces are not required for this applicant. And there's ample space in the back. The entire back park is a parking area, and if loading is needed, there is sufficient space for loading. And as for a current lighting plan, I do know that the owners have done a lighting plan and have installed lighting on site. If the if the board does require a lighting plan, we can try to obtain that from the owner, but I do know that that was part of their original site plan approval.
Okay. Mr. Bignell.
Mr. Chairman, as I said already, we're satisfied with this. All right.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we will now go out to the public. Anyone within 200 feet of subject property wanting to be heard. If you're within 200 feet, you received a notice via certified mail. Seeing none, we will now go outside of 200 feet of subject property. Anyone wanting to be heard? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close for the public portion. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Patel, seconded by Mr. Sadato. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed, and we will go to the board. Who's going to make a motion? I can't make a motion. Yeah. Gentlemen, I can't make a motion. Somebody's going to make a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Chhabra.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the application for the proposal of a worship place at 6 Kilmer Road. With the condition that the applicant provides an updated blueprint plan depicting the restrooms and the layout showing that the areas will be coordinated with the adjacent tenant.
I will add that they have met the negative and positive criteria worthy of a approval. They will agree with the conditions set forth in the Bignell Planning Consultants Report. We covered that they will submit revised plans. I believe that this is inherently beneficial use, and there were no members of the public in opposition to it, and will be a benefit to the use and a benefit to the community. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Chhabra, seconded by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chhabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Patel?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sidaha?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Barone?
Yes on the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kemba.
Yes on the motion. 6 votes in the affirmative. You have unanimous approval. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, is there any additional business to come before the board this evening?
That'll be all this evening.
All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Sadata, seconded by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The board stands adjourned. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, May 26, 2024. Thank you.